It is of February 17th. This was a very long day, so I got lots to go over here. Hopefully I can do it quickly and it's not going to take me 20 minutes. So 7:30, Tia left for her B1. Now it's Sunday. She had a 3-day weekend this week, and I didn't see her on Friday, really. I didn't see her on Saturday, really. And now Sunday she's gone for the whole day. So 7:30 she leaves for her B1, and at 8:45 she texts me and she says, "Can you bring the projector? Or do we have a projector? Because apparently the one that the girl brought that was teaching the class, it didn't work. She had not even taken it out of the box and tested it first. I'm thinking it probably would have worked. She just didn't know how to make it work. So luckily we had a big one, like one of the actual projectors. It's like this big that hooks to your computer and you'd see in like a classroom or something like that. So I was able to bring that. It's one that I had from whenever I was doing videos, wedding videos and stuff, and we bring it to do like the slideshows and whatnot. So had it, it worked, no problem. And then after that, I went home. Well, no, she only asked me at that point. Anyway, so at 9 o'clock, Tia said that she was beginning the master class and that I could take my time. And so I made coffee, made sure the dogs went out, got watered, food, all that kind of stuff. Now at 9:22 is when I got to the studio. I set up the projector and then I went home. Um, uh, about my car, this is the first time I'd driven my car that far from my house all the way up to 123 and down kind of where Taco Bell is over there, right next to Papa John's. That's the first time I've driven my car that far since I cleaned the throttle control. I didn't have any trouble. I made sure I went outside, let the car warm up for about 15 minutes, and no trouble. Didn't see any warning signals or nothing. So, great. 10:20 rolls around, and Tia texts me and asks if later on, before their masterclass, I can bring a speaker, just an additional speaker. And I said, "Now, do you want me to bring the whole sound system or just a speaker?" She goes, "Well, you're the sound guy. You do what you want." And I was just like, "Whole sound system it is." So anyway, I got all that ready later in the day and put it in my trunk so it was ready to go. I got the bass speaker. I got the regular tall speaker, the higher level, and I brought the soundboard. And now I've gotten pretty good at getting that thing set up, so I don't have to worry about anything. I tested it out just to make sure, but so throughout the rest of the day today, I had so many plans. I was going to go in the attic. I was going to start working on the taxes. Because I told Tia I'd at least try to get them filed before we left for vacation, which is still my plan. But I had so many plans. I did none of them. I ended up pretty much piddling on the computer all day, and then this pile of, let's see if I can reach, this pile of computers that's sitting right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there was a fifth one. I basically took those apart, cleaned them, got rid of some stuff that needed to go into the trash, like ones I'm not going to be able to use because they're just so old. Like my grandmother's computer was in that pile. I'm trying to make a server, and some of those are actually still fairly decent because they belong to my parents. But that's what I ended up doing, and then I got done just in time to head off to Tia's whatchamacallit. Yikes. 4:45, I arrived back at the studio. Now, it did not go without a hitch. There was a hitch in the get along. So I pulled out of the driveway, and this happened. Boop. Right here. That happened. and I checked the codes on it, and I got this code again, P2119, which is basically the throttle control again. So, what are you doing? So that happened. I checked it on the meter here, and then I turned my car off, turned it back on, and everything was fine. Then I got all the way up to the front of Walmart, like where that stoplight is, where the Goodwill is, in front of that big Baptist church, and it happened again. But I'm not noticing any power loss here. I'm just, the light came on. That was it. Now, when I was at my house, I actually turned it off, reset it, and did everything. But when I got over there, I didn't notice anything except for the light came on, and I went, uh-oh, I hope I can get where I'm going. Luckily, all I had to do was go down the hill because it was right next to Papa John's and Taco Bell, and I just kind of got into the parking lot of that place without any problems. So, at least that. Let's see here. Oh, so I got to the studio, and it had not started raining yet. It will have started to rain before we leave that night. But I got everything out of the car and just kind of put it on the sidewalk, and then I went around and I parked, and Tia came out the door, and she didn't even see me sitting there because I had literally went from here, pulled out, and went over to like 3 spaces over and parked. And I was sitting there waving at her, and finally she sees me. She's like, "Oh." And before I could even get out of the car, her and everybody had brought all the stereo equipment inside. So anyway, I went in, and once her class was over, the instructor doing the B1 class, once her class was over, I set up the stereo, because there was a good hour and 15 minutes between when I got there and when the thing was starting. It started at 6, and I got there at 4:45. So plenty of time to get everything going and making sure the sound check and all that kind of stuff. And so, but I basically stayed. I was going to go home, and then I was just like, well, I need to make sure that they don't do anything weird, because Zoom instructors have weird music that doesn't always, it's not always the same levels. So I stayed, and I worked the soundboard and made sure that it didn't blow out the speakers. So around 8:25, this is after the thing ended at like 7, I think it ended at like 7:30, 7:45. We were going to all go to dinner. That did not happen. Then it changed to me and Tia and Katie going to dinner, and then that didn't happen, and then Katie left, and then Nunley couldn't go, and everybody. So, sounds like there's a stereo beating outside. It might just be Dancer wandering around in her cage downstairs. But Tia was like, well, you just want to go to Walmart? Because I told her I was going to go to Walmart. You want to just go to Walmart and get something from there? And I said, yeah, I'll just do that. I'll get a frozen pizza or something. So I went to Walmart and got her food for the next week. And while I was there, I got a frozen pizza, got some pepperonis to put on it. And I kind of splurged. I got a stuffed crust pizza. Not as good as it sounds, because it was the generic stuffed crust. It's not like getting it from like Pizza Hut or something. Then when I got home, it was about 9 o'clock. Now, when I'm pulling out of the parking lot of Walmart, a wrench popped up again. So I turned the car off, turned it back on. Everything was fine. Got home, and I didn't have any other problems. So when I got home, Tia had already started. She had already preheated the oven, and I put it in, and we had pizza within a half hour because it took longer to cook it because it was a lower temperature, because it had the stuffed crust and you don't want that to burn. And the pizza was actually cooked perfectly. I haven't done that in a while lately. Like every time we have that homemade pizza or frozen pizza, it just doesn't come out right. We watched a few Michael K videos and some other stuff, and then at like 10 o'clock we were in the bed, and I think by like 10:30 we were both out. And that was the day. So until tomorrow, I'll be seeing you. I'm good. I'm right at 10 minutes.